Hi folks, Bob Wade, Averill House Vineyard. I've got Jackie Therrien, right?
Yes.
And just back from Nashville. And she's playing at the Vineyard. Been here for a while, since probably, 4 years?
Yeah, I've been playing here since I was 16 or 17 years old, so it's been a while.
It's pretty cool. Jackie had her 21st birthday last year. So
yes.
July or August?
In November.
November, yeah. Cool. So we brought out 21 so that she's got her own wine, and then we'll grab her. Do you mind grabbing that, Dave? So she can enjoy her.
Thank you.
Libation. Thank you very much. It's the first time that Jackie's been able to actually have wine at the winery. So,
finally.
Yeah, quite excited. So, that could be its own song. Right?
Yes.
So you've been going to school.
Yes.
And you were nominated for the roundabout for songs, right?
Yes.
It wasn't for the music side, it was more the songwriting side?
Yeah, so I was recently, I got to play, so my school has a partnership with BMI, who is like a PRO. They are the ones that like protect songs and whatever, and songwriters and whatever. And so my school partnered with them, and they selected 8 songwriters from like the songwriting program. And so I got to play in one of the big theaters at my school and play for a bunch of people, play for a board of people from BMI.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Do they, when you're done, do they give you a critique, or?
I unfortunately did not get feedback.
Oh, you didn't get any feedback?
No, I didn't. But it was cool to play with a bunch of like really talented people and for a big audience, and just like get the recognition from my school, but also BMI.
That is so cool. You've been writing songs though longer than that, right? I mean,
yes. Yeah, I started composing music when I was 11 because I'm classically trained in piano.
Oh, so
that was like my introduction to music, and I've been playing piano since I was 8 years old. Started composing music when I was 11. Fell in love with that, and then I was like, I could write lyrics for my songs too. They don't have to just be instrumental songs. And so I started doing that when I was 12, and I just have been doing it ever since.
That's so cool. When did the music side of it actually start to show up as far as your capability and skill level?
I think it really helps. Like, the reason I think I'm able to sing and play was the biggest thing, because I had just worked so hard on like piano itself, that it was just like muscle memory for me at that point. And so being able to sing and play at the same time, I think definitely being classically trained in piano was just really, really helpful.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you, most writers, do they actually sing?
Yeah, I mean, there are some writers that don't sing, or they don't play, or they don't really do either, and so they just, have other people
like
do
poetry.
it. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I'm able to do both. Like, I don't know, I guess I'm just lucky that I was able to have the musical training beforehand, and then I've, always I was in choir, literally all through elementary school, middle school, high school, so like that helps the singing part, and just, so like I have a bunch of tools in my toolbox, and I just put them all together. So
that is really cool. It's so for us at the winery, one of the things that's really exciting is bringing on evolving artists like yourself. So that's what we actually look for. We look for people that want to share what they're singing. Paul Simon's awesome, but I've heard him a lot of times. I don't need to hear somebody else singing Paul Simon. So, if he writes you a song, awesome. Then sing it. But, that's really not what we want. We have a very short time period. And when we have artists at the winery, we're really looking at what they're visioning for, not only their careers, but, in my mind, I think there's probably some logic behind, when you're writing song, you're writing about experience that you've either created or been involved in. So those are the things that we want to hear come through your music. Do you? We know that you pulled from your adventure at Market Basket.
Yes.
And And then you've had like 25,000 or 30.
Yeah,
views
it's actually about to hit 30,000, which is pretty crazy. 30,000 streams across all platforms, which is my most streamed song that I've ever had.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy.
And that one's, I saw you at the grocery store?
Yes.
Yeah, that's such a cool song.
Thank you.
Of course, only being in New England, we know Market Basket.
I know, like I always talk about it like when I'm in Nashville, people are like, what is Market Basket?
Yeah.
Like
So if Market Basket's listening, they need to open up in Nashville.
Yes.
Yeah. Bring it to Nashville.
Expand.
Yeah. That's really cool. What other songs have you seen a fairly large listenership to?
My other biggest one is April. That one I released when, I want to say I was 16 when I released that one. And that one I think has almost 20,000 streams.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a little bit behind Grocery Store, but it's also been out for a long time.
Right. Right.
But yeah, that one always has done pretty well, and it still gets streamed a lot, even though I wrote it years ago. So that's, I mean, it's pretty cool.
We were watching a show not too long ago, and one of the artists that was singing, they said that the hardest thing for them to find right now is actually good writers. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about how they've got this inner circle of writers that they kind of hang around with, and share. You know, they go to the camp. They just sharing their experiences and trying to get a song out of it. That's an interesting concept that I have like a hard time evolving around. It's like, you know, you're trying to find these people that can create.
Yeah, it is hard. Everyone always says in Nashville, like, it's very much like a collaborative co-writing city. So most songwriters, you're not writing alone. If you're like a songwriter for a living, you're writing with the 2 or 3 people that you write really, really well with.
Right.
But it's really hard to find those people that like you click with and that you're able to like share your personal experiences with and like make something out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's fun. It's cool collaborating with people.
Yeah. And then finding a musician that's gonna bring forward that style that you're writing.
Yeah. No, it's cool though, because I mean, like, what I want to do is I don't want to be an artist for a living. I just want to be a songwriter and be the one that is writing either for or with other artists that are much bigger and more successful than me, and just have them be the ones to share my songs. But like, I just think it's really cool to like be able to talk to these people or like hear about like, this is what they're going through right now, and like this is what they want to sing about, but like they need someone to help them express that. And so it's cool that like I get to kind of be the one to do that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it was Carrie Underwood actually that we were listening to. She was talking about how, like you mentioned, she'll have a song with 3 writers, and that kind of blew me away. I thought it would just be like one writer, one composer.
I mean, it's crazy. Like I kind of just had like my first like big breakthrough moment a few months ago, or actually only like a month or 2 ago. I wrote a song with 2 of my friends, and so the whole thing is that like you talk to a publishing company, and the music publishing company gives these songs to artists at record labels, and so they're hearing about like what these artists are looking for. And so we got given a sheet of all these big country artists right now that are like looking for a song, what they want it to be about, what they're going through, whatever. And I don't know if you know who Shabuzi is. He's a big up-and-coming country artist, and he really wanted a song that was just about his roots and like where he's from. And so me and my friends were like, okay, well, let's try to write a Shabuzi song about Virginia, because he's from Virginia. And so we kind of took like the classic folk song Shenandoah and put our spin on it, changed lyrics around a little bit, but I guess quote unquote sampled like the chorus of it, which is, it's public domain, so it's not like illegal to do that. So we did that, wrote this song about being from Virginia and like what we think his life is like. I don't know him personally, but like what we think his life is like. And then we recorded a demo of it, sent it to the publishing company, and it really is like, there's such a slim chance that you hear back from these people, because there's just so many songs coming through, and like it's just really hard to get noticed and get picked up. But the publishing company said that they absolutely loved the song.
So cool.
So they sent it to Shabuzi and his record label, and it's on hold for him right now. Which is crazy, because that means that if he wants to record the song, he can record the song.
That is really cool.
It's pretty cool. I mean, if it lands, then that would be crazy, because Shabuzi is like big up up and coming artist right now, so I'm like, I would love to have my name on a Shaboozey song.
Well, country music in general is, I'm not going to say necessarily expanded, but I mean, it's embraced a lot more music styles.
Yeah, it has. Yep. There's so much pop country right now.
Yep.
But then there's also like the Americana country, and there's rock country, and like all different stuff.
It's really
cool. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite of those?
I feel like I tend to lean more like Americana folk type stuff.
Ballad kind of thing.
Yeah, which I feel like has been coming back a little more. Like Noah Kahan is a big like folk kind of pop artist right now.
Yep.
And like that sound is getting really popular again, which is really cool because I'm like, that's what I've always kind of leaned towards. So like that's good for me that it's coming back finally, because that's like my like wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's where you're right. So, do you when you're writing things, do you find that it flows in a like pretty quickly, and you're just like really on, you've got it, and you've got your hands around it, and you just got to put it down? Or do you think you go back and write a line?
It's always different. Yeah. There's some times where like I'm feeling something really strongly, and I will sit down and write a song in like 30 minutes. And then there's other times where I come up with like a chorus or a verse, I write it down, and then I'm like, I don't know what to do with this, and then I'll go back to it. Like, I mean, it could be days later, it could be months later. There are songs that I've gone back to years later.
Wow.
And finished. And then other times it's like, like for the Shaboozey song, because I'm like, I'm not used to writing about something that isn't me.
Yep.
So that was like an obstacle of like, okay, I can't just like write what's on my mind, because that's not what on his mind. Like, I have to like do the research and like sit on a little bit and think like, well, what would he say? Not what would I say?
Right.
And so it's just always different.
And were you getting that from listening to his other music, or?
Yeah, I listened to his other music a lot and just like did research. Like I watched interviews with him. Okay. I read articles just to see like which again, he's a new artist, so there's really not like a ton of that kind of stuff out there yet.
Right.
But I was like, I gotta work with what I have, because I can't like call him up and be like, hey, how do you feel right now?
Maybe someday.
Yeah, but
that would be pretty cool. And you live in Merrimack, New Hampshire.
Yes.
But where were you actually born?
In Merrimack.
Oh, in Merrimack. Okay, yeah. So you definitely are a local.
Yes, lived here my whole life.
That's awesome. Have your folks been able to come down and see you in Nashville?
Yeah, they visited me a few times. They always drive me down when I move in, and then they pick me up when I move out. And then they usually will visit like sometime in the middle of the year. Yeah. So it's good.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's got to be a lot of pressure. I mean, you're going to school and trying to be creative, and you still have to earn a living somehow.
Exactly. I know. I'm about to graduate, and like I can't really go out and like get hired as a songwriter. Like you just kind of get signed and you're trying to make it, and like so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to find something else to do on the side while pursuing music and try to make it work.
Yeah. Well, it's a big challenge.
Yeah, but I mean it's fun. So
the dream is there. So, you gotta plow on. So. It's the same for us. We plan a great, and we're like, hopefully it grows.
Yeah, true.
7 years later, we actually have one. So, but similar to music in general. So for us, we're going to grow a vine. We pick the grapes. We're not going to have a product for over a year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's very similar to you're writing music, and we're trying to do that in a glass. It's a challenge. So we definitely understand. There's no immediate.
There's always steps and a process, and
that's really cool.
Yeah.
What do you see once you graduate? Do you think that you'll stay in that area just because it's kind of the hub?
Definitely. I really want to be there full time. Like I'm so grateful that I get to come home and play all these cool local venues. It's so much fun. But I'm really my dream is to move there after school and live there full time.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And there's a lot of growth there. I mean, it's just from looking to see who's moving there. And
it's crazy. It's like everything is always happening. There's so many musicians and producers and writers and just always shows, always live music everywhere you go, and yeah, it's unlike anywhere else I've ever been.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you think that you'll still, from the singing side, obviously you're doing that with your own music,
yeah,
promote it almost, right? But that's not your primary focus.
Yeah.
But it is where you can earn a living.
Yeah. So I'm like, I mean, while I don't want to be an artist full time and like have the dream of getting signed and going on big tours and whatever, I still like will always write for myself, and I'll always sing my own songs, and like I love playing out and playing my own stuff, and I'll probably always release some of my own music too, even if it's not like the main like goal of mine,
right?
Because it's just fun. I mean, I love it. It's like my diary. I just so
hey, not everybody has a music diary.
True.
Any questions you have for me and the winery or any of the?
Yeah, I mean, I've always wondered what is the process of making the wine? Like, I know that there's steps and it's a long thing, but Well, the obviously we had to plant these guys, and then the grapes will actually we'll harvest those probably end of September, somewhere in that time period, and the goal of the harvest is to try to get as much sugar out of the grape as possible. So we're waiting to the last second, like raisins, you're wanting a sweet raisin. So we're waiting for the sugar level to get up high enough, then we'll pick it, and then we'll add yeast, and then when we add the yeast, it's eating the sugar, and that turns to alcohol. So that's like the very short version. Yeah. But that can take quite a while. Yeah.
And then we have it in the giant fermenters that are in the production room. And we do batches that are usually like 150 gallons.
Oh wow!
So they're relatively small, but we actually found out at a industry get together that we're one of the larger, like percentage-wise wineries. And I was like, how are we larger? We have 2 acres, so, but they we're capable of making about 3,000 gallons a year.
Oh wow!
So that's kind of where our long-term objective is. But yeah, you're correct. It's the fermentation, all that alcohol gets eaten. Then where all that sugar gets eaten, turned into alcohol, and then we have to wait around for all the sediment to fall out of the juice, basically. And then when all the sediment is down, so then we end up with a nice container. So that can take a year or 2 years, just depending on how long and how much stuff is in there. So
oh, that's crazy.
It gets real technical.
I know, but
that's why Jake's the winemaker. So it's like, because I would just tell him what I'm feeling about, and he's like, "Oh no, do we actually have to write this down?" And I was like, somebody's got to do something. But yeah, that's basically what happens. And, similar to you, we get to be involved in other juices. Yeah. So like where you're singing today is surrounded by kiwi plants. And now we just thought, when we think kiwi, we're thinking Australia. We love Australia, so we're like, got to make kiwi wine. So we call it Keeping It Kiwi. And then we found out we could actually plant kiwi and grow it. Then we actually started growing it. So it's got the little flower there.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. I didn't know that.
So kiwi has a very unique flavor to it, completely different than grapes. Really, really kind of cool to see different flavors. So there becomes another wine, and you just go down these, strawberries, rhubarb.
That's cool though.
It's its own music. Very, very, very cool.
That's cool.
That's kind of what we do.
Yeah. And how did it start? Who was inspired to make wine?
So interestingly, I personally didn't drink alcohol until I was probably in my 30s. And my one of my best friends and my boss, he's kind of a Renaissance guy, and he was showing me wine and hard alcohol and stuff. And honestly, I had no idea. I really didn't. It's like, you're buying, I'll drink,
Yeah.
you know. So, and then, but what happened with us is the kids wanted to do something together, so that they didn't have to work for corporate America.
Oh, yeah.
And the three of them came together with the idea we had all this property. It was just grass.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, maybe we could plant grapes. We had already had some grapes growing, and they actually were producing about 8 pounds of vine. So
Wow.
we were like, well, we multiply that times 500.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you have some juice. You know? But yeah, so it was really an opportunity for my kids to do their own thing, and chase their objectives and goals.
Yeah.
But yet do it as a family. So I got to be involved. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So now we're here 7 years later.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it allowed, from our perspective, it allows us to meet, people like you,
Yeah.
which we would never have a chance to meet.
Yeah, true.
That's how we look at it. It's like we get to reach out and see musicians and comedians and people that we wouldn't have an opportunity to meet because we were working for somebody else.
Yeah.
So now we get to do it.
It's so cool. I mean, it's so cool that you guys have the live music and stuff too. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for new places to play, and like I stumbled across you guys years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool that I get to always come back and play here.
That is awesome. Well, we'll have you back as until that Shabuzi song kicks in. And he hires you full time. But you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. Any other questions I have? I know,
No, nothing.
minutes away from going live. So, yeah.
I know. I'm like trying to think. I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you being in with us and listening. And from Jackie Therrien and myself, Bob Wade at Averill House Vineyard, we look forward to seeing you next time.